all the way back。大約第15行咁上下，你哋可唔可以繼續舉住個手等佢睇到你啊 ？Please continue with your hands up so that they can give you the mic. Oh yes,
Hello, we very much enjoyed the movie and thanks for coming to Hong Kong. I'm just wondering if any of the stories loosely based on what you have seen in your life or anything that you have heard from. I mean, no, I mean, so I'm just curious about the inspiration as to how you filmed this movie.
想問故事嗰個來源或者係故事嘅靈感喺邊度，甚至係拍嘅呢啲細節有乜啲係我哋嘅導演係曾經經歷過或者係睇過嘅。
A lot of it is actually based on stuff I studied in college. I went to film school, but I accidentally got a minor in medieval and Renaissance studies. And I took a bunch of weird classes, and one of them I took was called Sexual Transgression in the Middle Ages and Renaissance. And one of the things we studied was the Decameron, which this is based on, which is a book of 100 stories, and I took a couple of stories and kind of put my own spin on it. And then, but that's where it ultimately came from. But then there's little things like the turtle with the camel on it was from another class I took in college about the Arabian Nights, and yeah.
And I'm going to translate all
I know,
that
that's a
without
lot of
forgetting.
stuff, yeah.
I will try. 我係讀電影學院嘅，但係當時咧我有個 minor 副修咧，副修就係 medieval and Renaissance studies 就係中世紀同埋文藝復興期歷史。OK， 咁於是嗰陣時上過啲堂啦，咁我其實係對尤其係對嗰個時代啲文學好有興趣，咁亦都上過一堂咧係關於 sexual transgressions in the Middle Ages 中世紀嘅性乜嘢？I'm just thinking of sexual transgressions. Yes, I know, but no, I'm just trying to be very precise with sexual transgressions. 一啲比較係偏嘅性行為。Okay, I think that's close enough. Okay, fine. Thank you. Wait, I've got it. Wait. That's it.
The turtle.
Oh, turtle thing. Thank you. How did you know I didn't say the turtle thing?
I actually speak Cantonese.
OK， 但係咧，仲有話俾你知，你嗰隻龜咧，龜嘅貝殼上面竟然有一個蠟燭係點解咧？呢一個咧係另外一班同呢個中世紀嗰無關嘅，就係關於上個一課係關於Arabian Nights 係1001夜。
This is actually, I mean, this is worth it. So back in the Middle Ages in Saudi Arabia and Arabic countries in the Arabian Peninsula, people would take camels and put it on turtles and stick it in people's windows. And people would be like, oh my God, what's going on? And while they were confused, they would sneak into the window and steal all their stuff.
原來咧，佢話咧，當時喺阿拉伯嘅地方咧係咁樣嘅，中世紀嘅阿拉伯，真係有啲人將個蠟燭擺喺個龜上邊，然後去引開人嘅注意力。咁你睇下點解會咁樣嘅咧？然後跟住啲小偷入去偷嘢。Good. You know what I said?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, another question? Okay, hang on, you have a question? Actually, also another thing is those who have asked questions get a bag, in a tote bag. But question, hang on, we'll give you the mic. 第6行中間。唔該。
Stairs really cool.
Okay, let's see.
Hello.
Thank you for standing. Good.
I love the movie, first of all. My question might be a little bit serious, not that much sex and stuff. So I'd like to ask, we don't see that much comedy in movies nowadays, especially in independent movies. What's going on? The movie makers just ran out of ideas, or we don't have any good scripts? The market just doesn't like it anymore? What do you think? What's your point of it?
收翻對呢個意見就係似乎咧，現在好少係睇到獨立電影係一啲喜劇，點解？
I think there's a couple of answers. First of all, so that you get ready to remember this. Number one, I think comedies don't make a lot of money for the most part. If you're making action movies and comic book movies and superhero movies, those do a lot better. So studios don't really see the value in making comedies. And then for the most part, when you see independent movies, they're generally really serious. So there isn't a lot of comedies in general. And then also, I can notice this when I'm showing this here. A a lot of comedy doesn't translate internationally because some of it is language. So for you guys that can speak English, obviously like you understand it, but some of it's cultural. So sometimes some of the comedy kind of goes under the radar. So for being in China, I think you don't get as many comedies as you probably would because most people don't even get it when you see the translation. So it's kind of hard.
喜劇其實有一個難之處就係因為係需要文化，你要文化先可以明得到啦。咁而好多嘅，譬如話係真係大嘅電影公司係唔係好中意拍喜劇，因為其實你可以想像個獨立電影嘅話，如果係大嘅大電影公司嘅動作片或者係由漫畫再改編嘅片，呢啲肯定好收得，喜劇未必一定，因為尤其係。喺語言嗰方面啦，或係唔同國家唔同市場嘅話，係未必一定啲觀眾可以接受到，亦都可以完全明白到。
Yeah, and then on top of that, I think also being in other countries, people have different cultural, sort of rules and mores and stuff. So a movie like this, I know like there's issues with nudity and some of the language and some of the sexual content, and it's hard for some of those movies to get distribution in other countries too because there's censors.
係，亦都某一啲國家可能佢哋嘅喺審批方面有一啲尺度上嘅問題。如果你尺度比較窄嘅話，譬如係粗言穢語或者係裏面嘅好多嘅即係裸露嘅情況之下，都係好難可以喺嗰啲地方可以上映。
Thank you. I just want to ask, do you have any projects on your hand right now?
Okay. 想問導演下一部戲拍乜嘢？
Yeah, there's 2 things I'm working on that we'll shoot next year. So hopefully I can come back here in about a year and a half or whatever it is and show you guys 1 or 2 of them. Which would be my dream.
I'm going to explain that first. 明年會拍2個戲，亦都希望或者可能再喺後年有機會可以喺香港可以上映去俾你睇啦。Okay, what are you shooting or thinking?
Oh, I like to keep it secret.
Okay. 我秘密唔話俾你知。Okay. Okay, another question. I'm going to take somebody there, and then after that, you. Okay? Please.
I really like this theater. It's really cool. It's great sound. It's like Atmos, right? Yeah. It's great.
It was great.
It's not on. And you get a tote bag.
I can speak very loud.
Right.
Oh.
Congratulations, it was amazing. I feel like all the actors have just came to the role so well, and well, Aubrey Plaza was born to play this or any other role she plays, but this, how did it come together?
各位演員都演繹得好好啊！想知道點樣去揾到呢啲演員出嚟咧？似乎佢哋真係好自然啊！喺呢一個銀幕上。
I basically remember that I had wanted to make this when I was in college, and I brought it up to one of my producers, and I was very lucky because one of my investors was from Italy and had been asking for a couple of years the group of investors who had put together this fund to shoot in these medieval villages that she had access to, and everyone thought she was a crazy person because why would you want to shoot in a medieval village in Italy? And then I said, I want to shoot this movie that takes place in the Middle Ages in Italy, and everything kind of clicked. So it was sort of like it was meant to be. And I got really lucky, so within having this idea, within a month, I was out in Italy scouting locations to then eventually, in a couple of months, go back and shoot it.
其實讀大學嗰陣時已經有夢想可以拍呢一類型戲，於是咧好彩就係其中一個製作，我其中一個製作人，亦都跟住咧，亦都有同有一班嘅投資人咧，我不斷同佢哋講係話，好希望喺意大利揾一個中世紀一個村落去拍戲。咁好彩就揾得到佢哋，同埋咧，其實當我有呢個構思真係要拍呢啲戲，至到去真係去揾景咧，其實只係隔1個月。
And the way I worked on this, which is similar to the way I worked on my previous movie, is I worked off of an outline as opposed to a script. So I worked off of, it was a 20-page outline, and I cast people that I knew would be right for those parts, and sort of built the parts around those actors. So I knew that if I can get them to sort of be similar to more like who they are as opposed to playing a character, it would play a little bit more natural. And so I assembled a cast of people that I am a super fan of, and I love every single person in it.
只係有20頁嘅大綱，其實係當時開拍嗰陣時係冇一個全劇本，但係當我選角嗰陣時咧，我真係選嗰啲角色係已經有呢一種不同類型嘅性格，所以覺得佢哋好自然可以投入到。Okay, good. Your question. Did you get your bag? Did you get your tote bag? Good. Did you get your tote bag? Oh, good. Okay, you get your tote bag.
Okay, I just want to welcome you to Hong Kong. I thought the movie was absolutely incredible. I thought it was just a magical movie, and it hit all of like the right spots of the movie. Like it was funny, it was endearing, the characters were very memorable, and it was excellent. And I think the last person actually asked a question, and that's I think that maybe you probably answered parts of it, but I was a huge fan of all the casting in this movie. I thought it was excellent. Like, everyone was pitch perfect. Like Kate was excellent. She's sort of like the middleman between Aubrey and Allison, and John and Fred and all these people. And I think you mentioned that you knew these people before, but I guess when you were creating this movie and thinking about it, you were sort of writing this for these people, like the parts for it. And so my question is like, how did you go about crafting this for the actors themselves?
因為導演其實已經認識呢一啲嘅各位演員啦，咁想知道實在喺嗰個拍攝過程或者係幫佢哋所以編排即係演戲或者編排不同嘅場景嗰陣時，係有啲咩嘅過程 the process?
Yeah, so sort of how I mentioned, I worked off of an outline as opposed to a script. There's a fluidity that I've been sort of working with. When I meet the actors, I'm not really, you look at their past work, but I'm trying to look for a new way of working where the sort of collaboration between us is, it's not full improvisation because I know what's happening in the scene, they know what's happening in the scene, but it's coming from their voice. And so I want to make sure whoever's in the movie can inhabit that character, but at the same time sort of be comfortable enough to be themselves so they're not actually playing a character. And so all the people, I've worked with almost every single person in this movie before, except Fred Armisen and Jemima Kirk, and I guess that's it. Yeah, I've worked with pretty much most of the people, so I know all, and Kate Mikuchi, and I know them all pretty well, and probably outside of working, so I get a sense of who they are, and what I'll do generally is like just take them out to lunch and just talk and just sort of get their vibe. And I work off of that more than their past work, just sort of who they are and what I feel like what they can bring as themselves as opposed to how good they are at playing somebody else.
除咗3、4位之外，其實導演係真係認識啊，同埋甚至係已經同呢一啲演員係曾經以前拍過戲，因此同佢哋嘅認識一方面就係好熟啦，二咧就係喺個大綱嗰度俾咗佢哋話大概要樣嘢演，但係有好多部分係即興，但係亦都係彼此之間有個互信嘅即興，因為導演知道啊，到頭來嗰個目的係因為去到邊一個位。
In comedies, there's sort of two ways to go about it. One would be to just go off of the script and go off the jokes. Another way is what people like Adam McKay do, where they do alts. So they'll do a scene, they'll just keep doing different lines to make it funnier and funnier and funnier. And that's sort of the traditional ways of dealing with comedy. And I don't like either one of those. So I'm sort of using a method that I think generally applies more to dramatic films. And I think there's it's obviously something that's kind of unusual. It's not something that's familiar, but I feel like it's rewarding. And I think, even though it is like silly in points, like I think then the sort of natural sort of realism, I think highlights and sort of accentuates some of the funny stuff. So it's an unusual way of working, but I really enjoy it.
拍喜劇有幾個方位，一就係完全即興，另外一個就係其實已經有嗰個劇本俾佢哋，或者係有嗰啲句子佢哋講嘅，咁不停講咧就練到越嚟越，即係拍幾次之後就每一次都越嚟越好笑。但係導演其實係希望用你有個更加新嘅方法去處理呢一樣嘢。And I forgot. Okay, you said that you have a new way, and I suddenly forgot how you did it. Sorry.
Just I don't remember. It's cool.
Last question.
Okay, last question. Sorry about that. Okay, did you get your tote bag?
I did, thanks.
Good. Last question. Last tote bag. At the back. 尾4行，唔該中間。
While he's going up there to drop the bag off, thank you all so very much for coming out and enjoying the movie.
Sorry, I would like to ask a question related to something about the film scoring part. Why would you choose over the medieval music other than the contemporary ones? Because nowadays many filmmakers will merge the contemporary music into something more historical based films. So I would like to ask about what's the point of choosing this kind of music.
已經判我個問題，點解導演似乎真係好刻意選咗中世紀嘅音樂，而唔係譬如話係再新嘅、再編排嘅、最新嘅一個作曲家去配樂。
Yeah, so my intention was always to make this as authentic and historically accurate as possible. And some of you might have picked up on this, and I feel like a lot of you maybe wouldn't necessarily because you're looking at the subtitles, but the language is contemporary as opposed to of the time. That's the only thing that I think isn't authentic. And so I wanted to make sure all the details felt like you were immersed in that time period.
我希望大部分嘅嘢你睇得到嘅無論係古仔裏面嘅音樂等等，都係要原汁原味。除咗我哋留意到嘅，如果你哋係留意到英文嘅話咧，全部講嘅英文都係現代嘅英文。
And so when I sat down with my composer and we discussed how we go about doing the score, I was a real big advocate for taking instruments that were of that time period, so like a lute or a frame drum or a violin or things that were of that time that we don't necessarily listen to anymore, and then somehow merging that with more like a contemporary synthesizer sound, but by sort of, and this is like really dry, I don't know if anything is, but like by like doubling the tracks to almost give it a sort of synthesizer sound, but we're using all real instruments.
OK， 而喺選樂器嗰方面咧，我特別係希望用翻呢啲中世紀嘅樂器，包括lute 老藤琴，譬如話frame drum 就係好簡單嘅，其實係用手打嘅手鼓，而第三就譬如話小提琴咁，但係同時間其實仍然有一個 synthesizer 出嚟嘅音嘅。咁但係點樣咧？我將兩個對疊，咁算聽嗰陣時咧，係又有嗰個真嘅樂器，亦都同時間有個電子樂器。
So even though it sounds like it's from an old time period, like what's going on musically is it actually is sort of emulating something a little bit more contemporary, but ultimately, sort of to your question, what I was aiming to do was make you feel like you're in this time period, but at the same time feel comfortable and so that it's relatable and something you can access as opposed to something that feels really foreign and alienating.
而於是你聽嗰陣時嘅感覺，其實雖然係可能有少少陌生，但係仍然係你感覺到或者係你係熟悉嘅一種音響啊咁因此咧，你唔會覺得係同呢一個音樂隔離嗰個距離太遠。
Because the ultimate goal of this movie for me was to get these people who are 700 years in the past to feel like they're people that we can relate to today, and so little things like that, I think, help you kind of connect to them, but at the same time, make it feel like they really were these people that you can't really access through time, that they're so far, but they're so similar to us.
Yeah， 因為最終個目的係希望你哋感覺到呢一啲人物雖然係700年前生活嘅人，但係同我哋雖然有一個距離，但同時間亦都係好接近。Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, we have the last question. Sorry. Okay, 你咁樣影相啊？唔使啦。Okay, good. And everybody happy with the photos?
Everyone happy with their toe bags?
Everybody? Okay, good. Thank you.